We welcome you back to the Hilton Head News, a special edition, sitting down with Mayor David Bennett, kind of talking about where we are and where we are going as a town. Hospitality issues are a hot button issue right now. Our great ability to serve hundreds of thousands of people, and yet we have, it would appear to be, problems with affordable housing, problems with transportation, problems with keeping that engine moving. Where's the town fit in with all of this? Where does private business fit in with all of this? Where do you see all of this coming together?
Well, you're right. That's certainly a concern for our community. In fact, the dynamics of that situation are particularly concerning to me. Mm-hmm. I don't pretend to fully understand the entirety of the matter, but the ability to attract, sustain a qualified workforce is paramount in importance, both in terms of our quality of life for those of us who are fortunate enough to live here mm-hmm. every day, whether that means individuals that are working in our hospitals or in our service industry or the hospitality mm-hmm. industry, as well as being able to serve the 2.5 million tourists that come here every year and wanting to ensure that you're doing everything that you can to offer them a premium experience. And there's no question that many of our employers are facing shortages, and it probably does break down to transportation issues as well as the lack of affordable housing here on the island.
Anything the town can do about it?
Well, for decades, I think it's important just to understand the dynamics of the problem.
Yeah.
For decades, Hilton Head has imported its workforce from right. areas that historically haven't had a large amount of quality job opportunities where individuals are living. And so we were able to attract them to come here. But that's changing now, yeah. and it's going to change even more with the Jasper Port. Mm-hmm. For all intents and purposes, a certainty at some point in time in the
sure.
future, roughly
sure.
7 to 10 years by most people's mm-hmm. estimates.
No, just the growth on the mainland is showing that.
Even in
yeah.
Bluffton,
yeah.
you're right. So in my view, this precept has always been true from our experience in business, which is people like to live where they work and work where they live. Mm-hmm. And so you need to, as a community, provide opportunities for individuals that are earning wages that are roughly in the ballpark that are associated with our hospitality industry, our hospital industry, and so mm-hmm. on and so forth, mm-hmm. to be able to live in the community where they work. I think for starters, the Affordable Housing Tax Credit Program, which was created in 1987 along with tax reform, is today responsible for 85 to 90% of the production of affordable rental housing in the country. Mm-hmm. And yet, by virtue of some additional criteria for competitive reasons that are imposed by the state agency here in South Carolina, Hilton Head Island is essentially foreclosed from participating and building new affordable housing. So getting that problem fixed would be a very good first step.
And that's at the state level, and that's where you're going to need to help marshal the forces of our state representatives and whatever to get that changed.
I've had a lot of conversations, exactly. I've had a lot of conversations thus far with Senator Tom Davis, mm-hmm. With Weston Newton, mm-hmm. With Jeff Bradley, and Bill Herb Kirschman, okay. To begin having those conversations at the state level to enact those changes that will be necessary so that that very valuable resource can be allocated equitably and benefit our community too, just like it does other communities around the state of South Carolina.
All right, on the other part of that, economic development. We had an economic development operation up and running for a year or so when you first took office. That's not there now. Where is the town in growing itself? I mean, the chamber can help, but where is the town in that?
Well, I think a couple of things. Yes, the town no longer has its own economic development corporation. That was founded before I was
okay.
elected. I think when the town council decided to defund that organization, there were questions in their minds and in my own, frankly, about the return on the investment that we were making.
Sure.
As I've come to learn more about that situation, it occurs to me that our best opportunity for economic development will be reached by working collaboratively around the county.
Okay.
And I think having our county organize itself and participating in one of the alliances that are part of the State Department of Commerce network, so to speak, will move us forward in the economic development arena. And myself and some of the other mayors around the community, as well as Stu Rodman, our county council rep, have been very instrumental in helping to bring some organization to the county, working with the county council to have this Economic Development Corporation set up by the Beaufort County.
Okay.
And we are working right now to negotiate with the Southern Carolina Alliance to join it under acceptable terms. And I think that that will be a huge step forward for all of us from an economic development perspective. With respect to Hilton Head Island, to be honest with you, I think our people, our natural resources, and our quality of life that we have to offer here, we work on those things, we will attract business people and new businesses. So both of those efforts working together should get us well down the road.
All right. With all of that and with the quality of life issue, where do you see us? Obviously, we all think that live here, we think we have a pretty darn nice quality of life, and yet everyone always sees something that can get better. What's the part you want to see get better?
That's a really good question, Bob. To me, I am just so, I'm not sure impressed is a strong enough word, but when you come to Hilton Head Island as a visitor, you see the natural beauty, the rich vegetation, the wildlife, the beach, the waterways. What you don't see is just the quality of people that live here. And I am just grateful, beyond grateful, for that qualified, giving citizenry. To me, I think if there's a real opportunity, it's setting the stage to bring us all closer together, meaning inside and outside of the gates, working collaboratively with one another.
Are we doing a good enough job of that? You know, the hurricane was certainly an opportunity to tear things apart because everybody behind the gates had its issues and everyone outside the gates had its issues. You know, did it turn out to be a bringing together?
Yeah, I think it did, but I don't think you can rest on your laurels after that. I think you have to keep moving forward, and you have to keep creating opportunities to continue to invest in one another's lives. To me, that's the real basis for community, and that was, frankly, a foundational reason behind why Alex Brown and I set up One Island, One Community, to create those opportunities for us to live life together.
I've got a whole list of topics here. I want to get to one more at least.
Okay.
We need the bridge to Bluffton, the bridge to the mainland, I should say, not just to Bluffton. What are we going to do? Where are we there, and where can we go, and where is that on your priority list? Because every morning I see it, watching the traffic cameras and people driving it all the time.
Well, it ranks up there with affordable housing in terms of being a part of a solution for our workforce issue, and I don't want to just break that workforce issue down to just roads. It's about transportation systems, but specifically to the bridge. The eastbound span that leads from the mainland to Pinckney Island has been declared structurally deficient by the state, and they have allocated roughly $46 million to repair or replace that stretch. From my perspective, we need to deal with that entire corridor comprehensively.
Sure.
I think people have their thoughts one way or the other about the flyover and whether that was a good thing or not. But bottom line, what it has done is it's added a third lane that, for lack of a better set of words, that dumps off right at the bridge and creates traffic issues, congestion issues. And what I don't want to do is just exacerbate that further by replacing one segment and somehow moving that traffic congestion issue closer to the island. So to me, it's about dealing with the entire corridor comprehensively in a manner that works from an aesthetic standpoint as well as a traffic management standpoint.
Amen.
In fact,
Amen
I'll be
to that.
leaving here today
Yeah.
to attend a meeting about that subject.
All right.
Particularly.
Well, then we will talk about that in the future. We're going to do this again. We're going to do this
I'd like
more
to do
often.
that.
All right.
This was good.
I do appreciate the time, and again, we've got a lot of great challenges facing us, but certainly we've got an awful lot to work with, as we've talked about over the last 20 minutes. Great to chat with you.
Likewise, my
Mayor.
friend.
Appreciate it.
Good to
All
see
right.
you.
And we thank you very much for checking us out this week on this special edition of the Hilton Head News. We'll be checking you out around our island home in the coming weeks and months.